Hey guys, what's going on? You're in for a surprise today as I welcome you to the first episode of our new series, CSS Animations. As always, I'm your host, Creative Builds. This series was requested by Dark Owl from the last devlog, and it's going to include some basic animations, how to create them, and the source code. If you have any ideas for future animations we can do, leave a comment and I'll try to figure out how to make them so I can share it with you all in a future video. So what is an animation? An animation lets an element gradually change from one style to another. It does this with just CSS and HTML, no JavaScript needed. And you can change as many CSS style properties as you want, as many times as you want, so long as they're able to be animated. We'll get to that more later, but for anyone new, you'll see me using codesandbox.io, which allows for super easy web development when trying out different designs. A link to this sandbox will be in the description below for those who get stuck or just want to see it in action. Speaking of action, you can see the example here of what we'll be making today. It's a triple dot loading animation where the dots move up and down while fading in and out. Now let's jump into the beginning of the whole process, starting with creating the HTML structure. First, we create a wrapping div for where our three dots are going to go in. Do so by typing in div id equals and then wrapper. Now we add in the three children divs and give them each a class of box. So simply put div class equals box and then copy paste that 3 times. And now let's swap over to our CSS file. You may notice that a part of our file has already been filled in. This is just some boilerplate code to help us clean everything up, although it's not really needed. The most important part is our body CSS, where we tell it to stretch, taking up the full width and height of the screen. We also set overflow to be hidden to get rid of the scroll bars. Here we create a reference to our div with the ID of wrapper by doing #wrapper. Stretch the element out to take the full width and height of the screen just like we did with the body. Type in min-width : 100 VW and then min-height : 100 VH. Now we want to center our content, so we're going to set display to flex. Add justify-content center and align-items center in order to have our dots in the center of the screen. Next, we need to add CSS to the divs inside of our wrapper element. Remember, they have a class of box, so we have to write #wrapper space div.box. This space tells the CSS engine that we want to edit the CSS of all the divs with the class of box that are also inside of the wrapper element. So let's set the width and height of our boxes by putting width 3 rem and height 3 rem. Rem is a sizing unit. If you want to learn more about it, I put a link to extra reading material on CSS units in the description down below. Set the position to relative and add margin so we can have some space in between our dots. Do so by doing position : relative and then margin 0 1 rem 0 1 rem. So far, there are still no changes, so let's add a pseudo element and it will all start coming together. First up, here's #wrapper space div.box : after, where the double colon means that we're accessing a pseudo element. Because the parent element has position relative, this ties the pseudo element to its parent element no matter where it is on the screen. This is important because it allows you to animate the dots flowing up and down. Set the background to a color you like. I'm going to use #87A7B3, which is sort of a grayish blue shade. Let the height and width be 3 rem both, and border radius set to 50% so that our square turns into a circle. So here we have an animation tag and we name it move. Let it last for 2 seconds. And let's set a timing function. This will be ease. It can also be ease in or ease in out. We'll alternate the animation to have it flow back and forth. Don't forget to set the animation to run infinitely. And lastly, we'll set the opacity of the pseudo element to 0. So initially, it's going to be invisible. Now it's time to add the actual animation. Animations are made using the keyword @keyframes. and then the name of the animation. In this case, move. It contains percentages which represent different points during the animation. Add 0% and then a pair of curly brackets, and a 100% and another pair of curly brackets. The curly brackets are where we're going to put our CSS that will change over time. Inside the curly brackets for 0%, set bottom to -1.5 rem and opacity to 0. This is saying that we want the element to start 1.5 rem units below where it's supposed to be at with a opacity of 0. And then inside of the 100%, set bottom to be 1.5 rem and opacity to 1. This is saying that we want the bottom to be 1.5 rem units at 100%, meaning that we're moving up, and we're setting opacity to 1, so we're fading in. This animation will fade in as the element moves up and then fade out as it moves down. And with that, we should now have our 3 dots bouncing side by side. It's time to create our delay and add in some different colors. To access the second and third box, we will copy the CSS selector that has our animation in it, which is the #wrapper /div.box : after. Copy and paste that to the new line and add int child 2 after .box. This selects the second div.box element within the #wrapper element. Add an animation delay of 0.5 seconds or 500 milliseconds and select a different background color if you want to. Copy that and paste it again. Change the 2 to a 3 to select the third element, and then change the delay in the third element to be 1 second or 1000 milliseconds. You can also change the background here if you want. Save everything you have so far and reload the page. You should see your 3 elements bouncing up and down with their different background colors. Feel free to tweak different variables and experiment with what you can animate, for instance, the background color. That's it for now. To give a short run through, we looked at what CSS animations are and how to create some basic ones for your webpage. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay tuned for more, and don't forget to join our community by subscribing or joining the Discord down below. And until the next episode, keep learning, keep coding. New tutorials come out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday and Wednesday, with devlogs same time on Friday.